Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to be analyzing the tabular model that we have deployed to the SQL Server analysis services. We're going to be analyzing this model using Microsoft Excel. Make sure you already have Microsoft Excel installed on your computer. I've opened up a blank Microsoft Excel workbook. I'm going to click on the data tab here, and from the data tab we have all this menu. On the left here we have get external data because I want to get data from the analysis server. So I click on the drop down and I'm going to click from other sources, click on the drop down and select from analysis services. Next, you need to enter the server name into the data connection wizard. So I've got my server name here. And then for the logon credentials, I'm going to be using the Windows authentication. So I'm going to click next. From the data connection wizard, make sure you have the tabular model database selected. I've got mine highlighted, which is the AW Internet Sales. Click on next. Before you save the data connection, you can enter a name and a description for your new data connection. I'm going to keep it simple and leave all the default settings here and click on the Finish tab. Before importing the data, you have to select how you want to view this data in your workbook. The default selection here is pivot table report. I'm going to leave the default and click OK. On the right, we have the pivot table fields. And in the pivot table fields, we have the objects from the model. So we have the measures. We also have the KPIs and the tables. Now that we have imported the data from the tabular model into Excel, we can now begin to perform some data analysis. So what I want to do, I want to filter the data by the English product name, and then I want to show the total internet sales per unit. I want to show the total internet sales in general. I want to show the total internet total product cost. I also want to show the internet total tax amount. In the pivot table fields here, I need to look for the dim product table, expand that, and I need to click on this more fields here and look for the English product name. So I've got that checked. And then I have to drag it and drop it under the filter area. Next, we need to add the values. So I'm going to go into the measures here. So I'm going to expand this fact internet sales where we have several measures. So I'm going to check the measures I need, which I'm going to use as the values. Under the measures, I'm going to select the internet total sales. So I've checked the internet total sales and that value is entered under the values area here on the bottom right hand corner. I also want to check the internet total tax amount. I checked that and that is populated in the values area. I also want to add the internet total product cost. So I'm going to check that and that value is added here in the values area. Finally, I want to add the internet total units. So that is also added into the values area on the bottom. Next, I want to add the calendar hierarchy. So under the dim date table, I'm going to expand that. And we have a calendar hierarchy. So I'm going to select it, drag it and drop it under rows. So make sure you drop the calendar hierarchy in the rows section here. The next thing I'm going to do is to create visualization from this pivot table. So we're going to do that using pivot chart. So just select any cell inside this data and then click on the pivot table analyze option and click on pivot chart. The default chart you're given is a column chart, which gives you clustered column to represent the data, but you can also choose other formats to represent your data. So you can represent it as a line chart, a pie chart, a bar chart, and so on. So I'm going to leave the default chart option, which is clustered column, and I'm going to click OK. And you can always expand the data here, the charts. I'm just going to click to expand that so you can see a representation of the data in the pivot chart. From the chart, you can see that we had a lot of sales for the year 2013. We also paid more taxes for that year 2013. The product cost was also much higher for the year 2013. So looking at the chart, we can see that the higher the product cost, the higher the revenue sales. What we've done in this video is just some basic data analysis, but there is a lot more you can do now that you have the data in Excel. So feel free to experiment and perform a variety of data analysis.